We all live in a world where more is the new mantra. Happy hours is what we want all the time. In fact, with rising competition and a race to please customers, in the end, we often get what we want. Now, the same mantra applies in the automotive world as well. Even here, more is the new mantra. In fact, expectations from smaller cars have been rising every single day. And out to try its luck and meet all these expectations is the new Mahindra TUV 3oo. Now, the TUV has been a much awaited product and a big surprise from Mahindra. Now, talking of the same word expectations, for starters, this is a sub-4 meter vehicle, which means it enjoys all the tax benefits. Secondly, it comes with a diesel engine of capacity under 1.5 liters, again well within the excise limits. And then you get an optional automatic with a diesel engine, you get a 7-seater option, lots of space, road presence and so on. Impressive. Now, the TUV may look a lot like the Jeep and in fact is a high vehicle with ample clearance. Getting inside this compact SUV is not a difficult task. You only need to be careful of the angular door and this part, but that's about it. Now, the cabin of the TUV is really a nice place to be at this price point. And before I get to the features and the quality, let me tell you that the view from the driver's seat is very nice. You get a typical SUV kind of a look from here, and this could be an easy way of massaging the driver's ego by Mahindra. Now, back to the cabin. The overall layout of the cabin is really impressive at this price point and a huge step forward as compared to the Contour. The central console reminds us of the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross, but we aren't complaining. And the overall quality of materials used, the plastic used, is really top notch. Look closely and the fit and finish is really well for a Mahindra at this price point. The TUV has a lot of features going in its favors, but then again, at this price, other cars might offer you automatic climate control, a cool glove box and of course rear AC vents. But that said, the seats are comfortable, a lot of places to keep your knickknacks, and overall I would say at this price, the TUV is impressing me a lot. Now, for starters, getting into the second row of the TUV is a big task as compared to the front seats. Now, the front seat, the driver's seat, is adjusted for my height. I stand 6 feet tall, and yet as you can see, there is ample knee room, lot of space for my feet, ample shoulder room, lot of headroom. So overall, the second row is really comfortable. It's spacious for this segment in the TUV 300. Of course, a few features are missing. You don't get any roof mounted or floor mounted AC vents. You don't get a central armrest, and the seat cannot be flip folded in a 60-40 operation. But otherwise, for this price segment, I would say the TUV scores better than the Ecosport. As you can see, the last row of the TUV is not really a comfortable place for a person like me who stands 6 feet tall and has a large build. This is best for shorter adults or even kids for shorter journeys. Of course, you can use the same space to carry some luggage. You get a decent amount of boot space at 400 liters. And if you want more space, simply flip the second row like this and you have ample space to properly shift a house. The TUV is powered by the same 1.5-litre 3-cylinder diesel engine that also powers the Contour. However, both the engines differ a lot in terms of state of tune. Now, this one has low power, approximately 16 bhp less as compared to the Contour. In fact, between 1500 rpm to approximately 2800 rpm, this engine will really impress you in traffic conditions. However, that said, anything over that and you will be pushing the engine a lot. In fact, this can be an issue at highway speeds. If you're traveling with a full load of 5 passengers and luggage with the AC running, anything over 100 kmph and the engine will seem to die a bit. Now, driving the TUV in traffic is not really a cumbersome job. As I said earlier, the high seating posture gives you a good visibility of what's happening around on the road. The engine is punchy and comes in very handy as well. People often ask us about the ability of a Mahindra vehicle to go around corners, and this one is a perfect example. It's a tight left and a right going down the flyover. So I think it's just a matter of time before you get used to a vehicle. There is body roll, no doubt. For the size and for the weight, this thing can be agile through traffic. You can change lanes, you can jump over speed breakers, you can go around corners and so on. There is ample grip from the tires, the brakes work decently well. So overall, although a typical customer will not be driving the TUV enthusiastically, but even if you do, you will not be disappointed completely. Now, as I said, the NVH levels, that is the noise, vibration, harshness levels on the TUV are really very impressive.
Well, now the TUV 3oo might flaunt its 7 seats, but the Ecosport is popular for a reason. In fact, not one reason, it's popular for many reasons, and the first and foremost reason being that it actually looks very classy, very premium on the road. Despite the fact that the Ecosport has been on the road for a reasonably long time, even then, even today, if you compare the exteriors to the TUV 3oo, the Ecosport is a much more classier product. Both are sub 4 meter cars, but both have very, very different characteristics. Ecosport is the refined, the young, the premium sub 4 meter SUV, the crossover that is on the offering. TUV, on the other hand, is a little on the rugged side. The whole level of refinement of the engine, the whole cabin space, layout of features, the dash, everything is much more premium in the Ecosport. The TUV has this feel to itself which is a little rugged. It has this, it's high, it's heavy, and when you're handling it around the corner, it does handle very well for the amount of weight that car has. But if you compare it to the Ecosport, it's much more better when it comes to handling. It takes a corner like a breeze. It's very good on the highway. It's excellent in the city.
But at the same time, there are two things which can be slightly annoying to a new driver. A is the steering effort. It is far more as compared to the Ecosport. And second is the gearbox. This works very well, but at times we have had big issues with shifting to, for example, the reverse gear.
Well, yes, the Ecosport loses out on a couple of places. The lower variants of the Ecosport don't really offer much in terms of features. And the lower end, the sync system, this music system that you see here, voice command, etc. are also offered only on the top end variant, which is a letdown considering the brochure on the TUV 3oo is much more impressive in the lower variants. There's much more on the offering.
Now, one more slight edge over the Ecosport, if I may add, is that Mahindra officials have hinted at a strong possibility of the TUV eventually coming with a 4x4 option. It will not only be offered with a T8 version but also with a T4, just to increase its affordability, and this is something lacking in the Ecosport.
The Ecosport is definitely less spacious than the TUV 3oo also. 3-arrow tight fit on the rear seat with very little legroom for the passengers. Also, the Ecosport boot space stands at 346 litre and the TUV at 384 litres. And here's a quick look at the comparison of features.
With the TUV 3oo, Mahindra is trying to re-enter the Indian compact SUV segment, a segment currently ruled by the Ford Ecosport and other options like the Renault Duster. Now the TUV offers you more space, more seats, better road presence and of course an automatic option with a diesel engine. Will all of these features be enough to dethrone the Ford Ecosport?
Well, Ford Ecosport on the other hand has a lot of things to offer. It's got more engine options, it's got more transmission options, it feels more sedan-like, it looks more premium, it feels more premium from the inside. So yes, the Ecosport has its advantages, and that's precisely the reason why this sub 4 meter car has been ruling the segment since it was launched. The TUV on the other hand has its own advantages, but it's for those who like a little bit more adventure in their life maybe, and a vehicle that looks more like a SUV than a sedan.
So as Kanika put it, I think these two cars might be in the same price segment but are definitely for different buyers. On that note, we'll take you leave from here. Don't forget to subscribe to the CarDekho channel.
Do subscribe to the CarDekho YouTube channel for all automotive updates and latest launches.